Okay, so the first method I'm going to talk about is going to be the best scenario, the easiest scenario to replace in a balance. And that is going to be if you actually already had a factory made cutout, okay? And what that looks like is, so I raise the bottom sash, that just means that for the bottom sash, if it was the bottom sash whose balances need to be replaced, there would be a cutout at the top here. If it was a double hung window and the balances need to be replaced, there would be like a little cover here covering the track, and you would pop that out, and then those would be inserted from the bottom. This window doesn't have that, so that's why I'm going to show the Jamb spreader. This shows probably the most expensive initial cost, but it's the second easiest method. So what you're going to do first is you're going to raise the bottom sash. Always make sure that the bottom sash has about 2 or 3 inches clearance before you attempt to tilt it out. The reason you do that when you're cleaning your windows or any other time is so this leg here, or this dam leg, what it would do is it would actually act like a fulcrum, like the teeter-totter point, and it would pull the pivot bar out of the balance shoes. I get a lot of calls from people who say their windows won't lock, and that's what they've done, or a window cleaning service that they use have done. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise the window with about, again, the bottom sash with about 2 or 3 inches clearance. We're going to tilt the window in. We're going to raise one side, and we're going to lift the sash's pivot bars out of the balance shoe. So I'm going to set this aside. So typically you're just going to have one side that is broken. That means that you still got one side that's working generally. So either way, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to release the tension on the side that's still working. Now it's kind of crazy. These constant force balances, they are under a lot of tension, constant. So what you want to do is you want to get a flathead screwdriver. You want to insert it into the channel, hold it with both hands, and then you're going to tilt it or twist it 1/4 of a turn. That's going to release the tension on the balance shoe, and it's going to be able to slide up. Now this window sample actually works perfectly, so I'm going to have to do both sides. So I'm going to do the same for this side. Okay, now I'm going to remove this balance track cover. And then what I would do with this window is I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Jamb spreader, I'm going to install it into the jamb opening, and then I am going to just unscrew it. It's very simple. This is going to be a fairly self-explanatory process. I'm going to take the other one, set it above the jamb. I'm going to engage it too. Now, by doing this, you'll see that as I turn these, they are going to spread. Now at this point, I'll just take a drill. I can undo this screw here. Right now, this balance is going to move up and down. I'm going to spread these things a little bit wider. I've got this one set too high. I'll fix that right now. And you just spread these frames. When it's wide enough, you'll actually just be able to pop one side out. Here, we'll do it just a little bit more. Pop one side out, and the whole thing will pop out. And then you can replace it. Okay. Then you would just take the new one, pop it in there, of course the right side. Now also remember, if you're replacing these, you're going to want the stainless steel coil to run on the interior track, because aesthetically it's just more aesthetically pleasing. It actually doesn't make a difference one way or the other, it just looks better. So then what you would do is you would just reinstall a new one, put it in, screw it back in, making sure not to over tighten the screw, and then you'd be done. Now, this is the perfect situation. And the reason I say it's the perfect scenario is because this channel right here is actually wide enough that I can actually use these these jamb spreaders. Now, I'm going to show you next a scenario in which this channel opening is just not wide enough.